Today we'll continue the grammar quiz. We are still on chapter 13. Punctuation. We take the punctuation. Okay, chapter 13. The end marks and comments and commas. I'll share the PowerPoint. Here is it. Okay, so we start lesson 3. Open with me, girls, please, your book. Lesson 3 is at page 245. Lesson 245, lesson 3 in chapter 13. We are still in the mechanics of usage and of how to perform the English, the grammar, and how to use it correctly. We are still in using commas. The first one today is, he says, with the compound sentences. And it's very easy, actually, and we took it many times through the year. When I have compound sentence. Compound sentence, what is the compound sentence? Compound sentence means two independent clauses joined together. Two independent clauses joined together is compound sentence. How I combine two independent clauses together? So I have one independent clause, one independent clause. How I combine them together? By using fanboys and were, nor, so, but, yet. So fanboys are coordinating conjunctions. What is coordinating conjunctions? They are used to combine independent clauses together. So I have one independent clause and one independent clause, which means a sentence. I have a sentence here, and in the middle fanboys. Sentence here, and in the middle fanboys. What comes before the fanboys? Comma. It never comes without a comma. Fanboys never comes without a comma. There is a comma precedes it. Comma and, comma or, comma for, comma nor, comma so, comma but, comma yet. So I have a sentence, and fanboys. I really like country music. So this is an independent sentence. I can understand what he wants to say. I really like country music. I like classical music too. I want to combine them together. Comma but. Tigers have sharp claws and teeth. They know how to use them. Comma and. Okay. Second case. Commas after introductory participles and participial phrase. The title is a little bit confusing. What is comma after introductory? It is too hard. We don't know, teacher, what is introductory participle? We don't. No. We know it. We took it. Just calm down. What is introductory? Introductory means that comes at the beginning, like introduction. It comes at the beginning of the sentence. Introductory means it comes at the beginning of the sentence. It's very easy. What is participles? Remember, when we took a chapter, and this chapter named phrases. In the phrases, we took verbals. And verbals was a word that looks like a verb but doesn't act as a verb. It looks like a verb, but it doesn't act as a verb. It acts as what? The first case acts as an adjective. Acts as an adjective. Like what acts as an adjective? Like the participles. Participles and participial phrase. Now I remember, it's a word ends in ing. Okay, a word ends in ing, or a phrase starts with a word that ends in ing but doesn't function as a verb. It functions as an adjective. So what do I do with this? I put a comma after it. So I again take the phrases, participial phrase, in order to know that I have to add a comma after it. So shouting, shouting is not a verb because here there's no verb to be before it. Shouting as loud as she could. Morgan, so shouting as loud as she could. Remember when we took the modifier and we said it modifies Morgan? And if I don't find Morgan, I have to add Morgan. So shouting as loud as she could, Morgan got her mom's attention. So this is an adjective for Morgan. What do I have to do? I have to add a comma after participial phrase. I have to add a comma after participial phrase, and then comes an independent sentence after it. Is it independent sentence? No, this is a phrase, comma. Participial phrase, comma. Number 2. But here are some tips in your book. According to some grammar books, a comma may sometimes be omitted between two short main clauses. If I have two short main clauses, sometimes they just say and without a comma, but he says that in the book, he follows the grammar rules. Okay, of course, it's a grammar book and you are studying English grammar, so you have to take the rules. And he said, because we've just taken the compound sentence here, sentence, comma, fanboys sentence, he says to don't confuse a compound sentence with a sentence that has a compound subject or compound verb, because when I have a compound subject, I don't add a comma. Mike and Jane went to play. I don't add a comma after Mike and Jane. But if I say Mike went to play, but Jane went to school, I have to add a comma before but. Okay? The party started at 7 p.m. and ended by midnight. Started, ended, these are compound verbs, so I do not add a comma after and. Tina will marinate the chicken, comma, and Tony will grill it. Okay, so now we took a comma. After what? We took a comma after here in fanboys, before fanboys. Okay, comma, participial phrase. We took a comma after participial phrase. 1 minute, girls. This is not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be there. Here. Okay. Between two independent clauses, again. After participial phrase, and now after introductory infinitive phrase. Again, teacher, I don't know what does it mean. Introductory means it comes at the beginning. Grade 10, are you with me?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Introductory means comes at the beginning of the sentence, right or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is infinitive phrase? If I go back to remember, infinitive phrase is also a verbal, a word that looks like a verb, but it's not a verb. It doesn't actually act as a verb. Okay? Here I use comma after introductory verbal phrases. Okay? The verbal phrase. What is it? Infinitive phrase. What is infinitive? To plus a verb. To win that game, comma. We must be very well prepared. So it is like the participial, teacher. I have the participial here and then I follow it by a comma. Yes, a participial phrase, comma. Infinitive phrase, comma. Okay, number 3. Introductory adverb or adverb clause. It is also easy, girls. Introductory means introduction. It comes at the beginning. Adverb, girls, quietly, slowly. Okay, today, then. These are adverbs. But they tell me when and where. And they tell me how. Like quietly, it tells me how. Today it tells me when. So quietly, comma, the students completed their homework in the study hall. This comes after adverb. Okay, what about adverb clause? Adverb clause is an adverb because it's a clause that comes at the beginning of the sentence when it is dependent clause. So while we take the chapter of mechanics over a chapter of usage, we revise all what we have taken through the year. So it means that you have to know what is an adverb clause. Yes, teacher, we know what is an adverb clause. Adverb clause is a dependent clause that comes to tell me when or where or how. So here I have independent clause, which is the team celebrated. When? After winning the season opener. And I know when we took the adverb clause that when dependent clauses comes at the beginning of the sentence, it is followed by a comma. Dependent clause is followed by a comma when it comes at the beginning of the sentence. When the team got off the plane, comma. When the team, it starts with subordinated conjunction. When the team got off the plane, comma, hundreds of onlookers began to cheer. If you are subordinated conjunction, if you intend to travel to New York this summer, can I stop? No, it is not independent clause. It should be with a dependent clause. So if you intend to travel to New York this summer, you should make your plans now. Okay? Again, what happens if I start with you should make, I do not add comma, you should make your plans now. If you intend to travel to New York this summer, I do not add comma. So I put comma before fanboys. I put comma after participial phrase. I put comma after infinitive phrase. I put comma after adverb clause. I put comma after introductory prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase. To win the game. At the entrance to the cave. During those, when I start with a preposition, an object of preposition, and anywhere between its prepositional phrase. Of course, after prepositional phrase, I add comma. So teacher, I can understand that when I start with phrase, I add a comma. Yes, when you start with phrase, add a comma. Infinitive phrase, participial phrase, prepositional phrase, you add a comma. And if I start with dependent clause, I add a comma. Yes, any dependent clause, add a comma. So here, when I start with a prepositional phrase, I add a comma. What if I have more than one prepositional phrase, teacher? What if I have two prepositional phrases? I add commas. During those hot, boring summer days, okay, but here it is during these hot, boring summer days, it's here between the adjectives, not two prepositional phrases. I will show you now how. Time passed very slowly. Use comma after an introductory prepositional phrase or a series of introductory prepositional phrase, like here. With regret, prepositional phrase. I turned down Justin's invitation. By 4 o'clock on Thursday, I have by 4 o'clock is prepositional phrase, and then I have on Thursday another prepositional phrase. I'll be at the beach. Okay. Okay, then he says to you a PS, which is a note at your book. A comma is not always necessary after a short introductory prepositional phrase. Okay, it's not always necessary. Sometimes you can write however and continue. But however, your meaning will be clear if you use a comma after most introductory prepositional phrase. Okay, and the comma will be correct in most cases. So don't use a comma after an introductory prepositional phrase if it's immediately followed by the verb of the sentence. Like here, inside the bag on the bedroom. So I have inside the bag and on the bedroom. Door. I can't. On the bedroom door is the flashlight. Here it's inverted sentence because flashlight is the subject and the verb. So inside the bag on the bedroom door, I cannot put a comma. Okay, because this was supposed to be at the end, and when it's supposed to be at the end, I don't add comma because we say the flashlight is inside the bag on the bedroom door. Okay, so in inverted sentences, I do not add comma. Okay, so we finished the lesson of page 244. In your book, he wrote for you something nice. I wanted to give you this example. Wait, I will write it for you here. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Why I don't hear your voice now today? Hmm. Look at this, girls. I will share it. Here is it. Oh, I shared the PowerPoint again. Here, do you see it? Let's eat grandma. So let's go and eat grandma. Let's eat it. Let's eat our grandma. But here, let's eat, comma, grandma. So comma save lives. Yeah, I always like this example. This grandma screams, "What? Let's eat comma, grandma." Okay, so comma saves lives. Here you see how many examples it's used to show the usage of pronunciation. Are you with me?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Yeah. So we start solving, girls. The example he wrote to you on page 245. Soon after we left the observatory. So it means soon after we left the observatory, I'm waiting for something happened. What happened after you left the observatory? But if I say soon after, comma, we left the observatory. Here I can understand that. Can I understand it is an independent clause, so I can understand that they have left. If you want to join us next week, what happens if I want to join you next week? What happens? But look at this. If you want to, if you want to, comma, join us next week. Here it is understood. So when I do not add just a comma, the sentence is not understood. Is unclear. Okay.
Yes, miss.
Page 246. We start solving. Asma number 1.
Yes. Yes, miss. What are asteroids and where are they found? We will add a comma after asteroids.
Excellent. Number 2, Buthaina or Bilqis, sorry, Bilqis, Bayan. I daily I call their names and you never reply me, Buthaina and Bayan. Bayan and Bilqis. Buthaina number 2.
Yes, miss. In some way, asteroids are manipulates. We're gonna add a comma in after ways.
Excellent dear. Number 3 Dana وائل. داليا اللحام.
Yes, miss. Miss, we put a comma after wait.
Yes, in some ways, prepositional phrase.
Yes, thank you.
Introductory prepositional phrase. Dalia, number 3.
Miss page 244.
246.
Some star patterns that can be seen all year long are called.
Dalia. Dalia, where you asleep يا Dalia? We are still in exercise 5 dear. Wake up حبيبتي, focus with me. Some are no wider.
A few kilometers, but the largest series has a diameter of about 600 miles.
I have here 2 independent clauses dear. Combined with but. Where do I add the comma?
Before but.
Excellent, before but. Dareen, number 4.
Yes, miss. Number 4. Although most asteroids are found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, some are on their own, we'll add before and comma.
Although most asteroids, here I have subordinating conjunction, although I started with depending clause. So I add a comma after depending clause. Where did this depending clause end?
Although most asteroids
Yes, continue it.
are found asteroid belts between Mars, comma, and Jupiter.
So where do I add the comma?
Miss, after asteroid in the start of the sentence.
Although most asteroids are found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, some are on their own. Where do I add the comma?
Miss, between Mars and.
How between Mars and? Where does the dependent clause finish, dear? Dear.
Yes, miss.
Where is it?
Asteroid.
Listen, dear. Although most asteroids are found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and here this dependent clause finished. Some are on their own. So where I put the comma?
Before some.
Yes, dear. Before some. Excellent, Yadari. Durra?
Yes. When an asteroid plunges into Earth's atmosphere, comma, it becomes a meteor.
Yes,
I will
dear.
put a comma after atmosphere.
Excellent. Why?
Because it is an introductory clause.
Yes, excellent. Okay. Then I have Jana. Jana?
Yes, miss.
Jana.
Yes.
Okay, number 6.
Speeding through the atmosphere, these space particles begin to glow with heat.
Where do I add the comma?
After atmosphere.
Excellent, dear. Number 7, Fatima.
Yes, miss. Think about the shooting stars you have seen and recall the brief but exciting flash of every light they produce, comma before and,
Excellent, dear. Why?
which, because it's a coordinating conjunction.
Why? What?
Because it's included in the fanboys.
Excellent, dear. Fanboys between two independent clauses. Ghada?
Yes, miss.
8.
Many of these letters burn up in space, but a few reach Earth. Comma before but.
Why?
What did you say, miss?
Why before but you add comma? It is what? Conjunction to combine two independent clauses. Right, Ghada?
Yes.
Excellent, dear. Joanna? Joanna? Jude?
Yes, miss. Number 9, right?
9.
When they do, they are called meteorites. When they do, after when they do.
Excellent, dear. Jumana? 10. Jumana? Zena? Sarah?
Yes, miss. Number 10.
Mhm.
At times, comma, asteroids cross the orbit of planets.
Yes, why you add the comma after at times?
Because it's a proportional phase. And
Excellent, dear. 11 ريما. ريما 11. نور حسن.
Yes, miss. In number, to guess what happens in that case, you don't need much imagination after case.
Why?
Because it's an introductory phrase.
Introductory phrase, yes. 12 نور عبد الكريم. Excellent يا نور. بلال.
Miss, it's Rima.
ريما. Be ready to answer 13 يا ريما. 12 نور عبد الكريم.
I think about a relatively small object meeting up with a very large one, comma, and visualize the result.
Yes.
We're going to put a comma after one.
Yes, why dear?
Because here, think about the relative small object. Here it is a. Is it?
Yes.
Both of them are dependent, so we are going to combine them with and.
Excellent, excellent يا نور. Excellent dear. ريما 13. ريما. She lagged again. Note.
Yes, miss.
Yes, note 13. Where do you add the comma?
After, of course.
Yes, dear, after, of course. Do you know why you know?
What, miss?
Do you know why? What is of course? Adverb. Okay. Okay, we go to exercise 6. Najwa? What do you add to here? You add introductory phrase, dear. Introductory element. Any introductory phrase, introductory clause. Can you start with introductory clause here? Number 1. I'll answer number 1, ya Najwa. You can see the Big Dipper all year long if you live north of Cairo or Miami. I start with if you live north of Cairo or Miami, I add a comma. You can see the Big Dipper all year long. Right? Yeah. So think of number of number 2 in Najwa.
Maybe unlike most constellations, comma, the Big Dipper never disappears below the horizon.
Again, Najwa.
Unlike most constellations, comma, the Big Dipper never disappears below the horizon.
Yes. Yes, excellent deal. Number 3, Lujay.
Yes, miss.
You can add. Okay, some star patterns that can be seen all year long are called circumpolar constellation. I can start all year long, comma. Some star patterns can be seen are called circumpolar constellation. So answer 4 is Lujay.
You can use the Big Dipper to find other constellations in the sky. To find other constellations in the sky, comma, you can use the Big Dipper.
Excellent. Malak Wasim, 5.
Miss?
Yes.
Miss, I'm sorry to interrupt, but in number 3, why can't we put like 2 commas? Like some star patterns, comma, that can be seen all year long, comma, are called circumpolar.
Because here he wants introductory. To bring something at the beginning and add a comma after it.
So I should change the entire sentence.
It is okay. What you say is what we are going to take in the next period. Excellent, Yelaya. Okay. Number 5, Malak Wasim.
Yes, miss. Can we take, for example, for the beginning and then the big diaper seems to empty?
Excellent, dear. Number 6,
Miss?
Natalie. Yes, Rima.
I'm so sorry, my mic is lagging.
It is okay, dear. Can you answer 6, Rima?
During the night and then comma.
We are in 6.
Yeah. Sophia's the king and
Yes.
that one.
Yes.
So during the night and then comma Sophia's the king and then can be found.
You added something. Yes. We can say near the big and little dippers. Siphus the king and Cassiopeia the queen can be found. Okay, number 7. Thank you, Rima. Number 7, it was Malak Wasim. No, Malak Wasim answered. It was Natalie, I think. Natalie. Natalie?
Yes, miss. Do we put it near the start? Beginning, I mean.
All you need to keep a track.
Yeah.
How can I bring an introductory clause at the beginning?
Track of time.
I take the dependent clause and put it at the beginning of the sentence. Where does the dependent clause start? It starts from before. So I say what?
So before your eyes in the night sky, comma, all you need to keep track.
Excellent, dear. Excellent, dear. Okay. Well, I'll stop recording. Okay.